That is the only real discussion here. Will they be able to create this black hole of economic implosion and consolidate the power and then maintain it? Or are the economic dominoes that they have set in motion so disastrous that it will bring down their own financial system? And so we stand here watching the control corporate press trying to spin things, telling us that the light is at the end of the tunnel, that everything's going to be okay, that America is back on her feet. Meanwhile, more and more layoffs, more and more factories shut down, more and more families go bankrupt, more and more homes are repossessed. More and more companies downsize. People take massive pay cuts if they're lucky enough to even have a job. Or yuppies with 2 or 3 degrees to their names who have hundreds of thousands of dollars in college loans that they'll never be able to pay back are working at the grocery store in the morning and at the video game rental shop in the evening. And the government and the state and the social engineers, the social architects, get what they want. And what is it that they so dearly desire? To destroy families, to destroy the middle class, to wreck free market systems. And that's exactly what they're doing. As the Associated Press reported last week, Walmart, in the midst of every other major sector of the economy and every other grouping of retailers, I mean, hundreds of major retailing chains, specialty stores going bankrupt in the last few months, hundreds and hundreds, and Walmart post a 17% profit in the last quarter. That's the black hole. That's an example of this predatory system where they have unlimited slave labor, no environmental standards, no workers' comp, no insurance, no Social Security to pay. It was not free trade. It was not fair trade. It was predatory slave labor being used to criminally destroy the free market. These are monopoly men. That's how they get their power. That's how they get their control. They destroy any chance you have through neo-mercantilism of having an independent, strong, vibrant nation. They train you that going into debt is a good thing, that going into debt, they told you in 1,000+ TV programs and financial publications tens of thousands of times that it was great to live off of interest on your house, to live off of increasing values in your home in the last decade in the real estate bubble. They advertised that it would never end, and they used that to trick the gullible population into getting into deeper debt so that they could fully implode this economy. But they've done such a good job of it that it threatens to completely implode too quickly. And as the Financial Times of London said many times with their top analyst, the elite want a slow slide, a slow, deliberate destruction of the standard of living. I mean, how many UN documents have I read on air? How many times have I heard driving home from work on NPR them bragging about, oh, global warming and the new global tax and the new global carbon trading systems. This will teach Europeans and Americans not to live too well, not to have too high a standard of living. It is feudalism. It is serfdom. And they planned to have a slow slide into feudalism, into serfdom, into peon systems of control, where you don't have any money to fight back or defend yourself in court or any money to private school or homeschool your children. So both of you have got to work to death to pay those bills. But now they've done such a good job of destroying the economy that it's unraveling too fast for them, and they are losing control. It has always been the social architect's goal to create monopolies and destroy all competition of their monopoly of power. Because it isn't just a monopoly over manufacturing or computing or spying or force. It is a monopoly of the mind. They want a dumbed-down, servile population. To paraphrase the words of Bertrand Russell, a ruling elite that is so brainwashed and dumbed down and confused and semantically destroyed the language to where a revolt by the middle class and a revolt by the working class would be as ridiculous as a revolt by sheep against the practice of eating mutton, which is baby sheep. The practice of eating mutton. That's what they think of us. That's what the social engineers have done. And now the predatory, parasitic economy is expanding at record rates. Only by recognizing who has engineered this. Only by recognizing who has laid this trap. Only by exposing and discrediting the New World Order and all of their, quote, solutions, which will just bring us under more of their control, can we reverse this. When we come back, I'm going to break down the mindset of the New World Order. We're going to get more into the economy, take your phone calls, get into huge developments with Russia.
This is not America. Little piece of you, a little piece in me will die.
The social planners that control both parties 100% of every major nation, except for a handful of rogue countries, want neo-feudalism. That's what the Club of Rome states. It is made up of former American presidents, British, European royalty, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers. It's all stated, it's all covered in my film, Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement. And they say just thousands of times in these reports that they are going to bring us to subsistence level. They are going to have a social welfare, quote, net that is there to euthanize us, sterilize us, that is there to kill us, there to carry out their chemical, biological, radiological attacks upon us in a controlled environment to forcibly cull. This is a control freak wonderland. And if you go to the major universities, that's all that's taught. We're evil pigs. We've got too much. We've had too high a standard of living at the rest of the world's expense. And they sell the third world on that. No. The third world is not going to be allowed to live better. And then we're going to be lowered down to their level. And that is what Barack Obama saying that we're not going to get as much food as we had. And we're not going to be able to drive cars like we were. And we're going to have to live in these compact cities and be highly controlled. And we hear the exact same things out of Gordon Brown and England. And we hear it from we also hear it from the Japanese president. This is what they're pushing. And they mean to set it up. They mean to do it. They mean to flood the market with cheap goods, buy up their competition, blow out their competition, use regulators to shut down the family farms and ranches with the animal ID, the premises ID, to shut down the small meat packers. They've already shut down almost all of them, to shut down the small refineries. Everything is about consolidation so that they can have their way with us unabated.